I've been traveling ever since I was a kid. Europe, Africa, North and Central America, the Middle East, you name it. For the past 10 years, I've been going to Costa Rica. I always heard about how cool Costa Rica was as a travel destination. It has a tropical climate, incredible wildlife, scenery, and most importantly for me, the surf is pretty good. I asked my buddy Matt to come over and have him show me a mind-blowingly simple and most importantly, light way of packing my surfboard. He showed me how to use easy to find and lightweight quarter-inch styrofoam to protect the top and bottom of my board. Next, he tore apart a cardboard box and used that to wrap the nose of the surfboard in a cardboard taco, helping to protect that easily damaged area. Then you get some stretch wrap on a roll found at your local office supply store and wrap everything up nice and tight. Once everything is in place, you put it into a board bag and you're ready to go with a good chance of your surfboard arriving in one piece. Man, the trip was already starting to come together great, thanks to Matt. All I needed now was some rest for the long journey that lay ahead. The next day, my buddy Uncle Mike was kind enough to take me to the airport, where my two friends, Pat and Justin, would be meeting me to begin our adventure. After the surfboards were loaded onto the back of the truck and the rest of my stuff was inside, we were off. Our flight took us from Florida to San Jose, Costa Rica. After getting our truck packed, we were ready to get some food before we took on the long 8-hour drive deep into the country's southern zone. The Lord knew we needed all the help we can get driving on Costa Rica's roads, most of which aren't good for you or your car. After getting rattled to the core, we'd arrived at our first destination and were ready to get some much-needed sleep. When we arrived at night, no one had any idea we'd wake up to a view like this. We had lucked into what was going to be a gorgeous day. When I spotted two scarlet macaws, reality had set in and I knew that we were deep in the jungle. We were all quickly getting ready to go surf because we had heard there's a wave nearby able to be ridden for over a mile. When we arrived at the point, there were fun waves peeling down the coast and already being enjoyed by some really hot surfers. Watching these guys surf on these fantastic waves surrounded by paradise can cause a dreamlike state to occur, where all you see is the vibrance of color and motion. rides were so long, after each one you'd have to get out of the water and walk back a mile up the beach in order to reach the takeoff spot. About 100 yards behind the beach was a fully operational soccer field. Any Costa Rican village worth its salt has one, and on the weekends there's heavy action. The local custom is to let the dog cross the field to signal the end of the game. After some great surf, we decided to head back to our place and relax for the rest of the afternoon. Pat and Justin were having a great time. Justin, being a beer connoisseur, enjoyed the national brew. While the boys relaxed, I went on a walk behind the place we were staying and discovered a small jungle trail. Hoping to find a good spot from where to check out the view, I lucked into a scene right out of a postcard. The hot and humid tropical jungle, together with the mountains, causes some incredible weather. Bright and sunny one minute, dark and pouring rain the next. After relaxing, everyone was getting ready to go check out the local nightlife. We all went down to the cantina. No matter how far from civilization or deep in the jungle, Costa Rica's beer coolers are always full, keeping everyone in high spirits. You find out quickly there isn't much to do at night in the jungle except play cards. So Pat and Justin met a nice family from California and had a great time playing with cool people. Pat reminded me we're all gonna need some rest for tomorrow's surf, so we better get going. We woke up early hoping to get into some empty waves at a spot we found, but the tide was too low, like 16 feet too low, so we'd have to go to another break if we wanted to go surfing. doesn't matter if you're a kid visiting from the US or a Costa Rican native, the ocean is always lots of fun. Costa Rica is relatively inexpensive, but this guy really had it wired, free, right on the beach. After surfing, we drove down the coast until we spotted a smiling local who told the boys of a jungle trail out back where we could find some truly unique wildlife. Bromeliads, spatifiliums, hibiscus of various shapes and sizes, iguanas of different colors filled our sights as we waited on Peter, the guy who ran this amazing preserve. Peter told us he'll have his resident jungle guide show us around, and if we're lucky, we'll see some rarely seen animals and learn more about the jungle. Luis, the resident jungle guide, told us Costa Rica is considered one of the most biodiverse regions in the world. Just in this area alone, there were 270 species of birds, 800 varieties of trees, animals like sloths, and a frog that can kill a man. The reserve has several waterfalls emptying into always refreshingly cool creeks. Perfect when you remember to bring an extra pair of flip-flops along to enjoy it. Luis was now on the search for the green jeans poison arrow dart frog. He explains the frog excretes a poison from its skin. A small amount can kill a man. The native Indians rub their arrow tips on the frogs before hunting. This helps bring down their prey almost instantly. Due to the jungle canopy consisting of thick tree growth, most ground plants have thrived by developing ways to catch sunlight even in such low light conditions. This plant's leaves grow in a spiral pattern around the stalk, allowing all the leaves to receive plenty of sunlight. The abundant ecosystem provides a great habitat for so many different animals like these black vultures who migrated down from North America and have made a permanent home here in the jungle. Fruits come in many forms as well. The apple-flavored lychee fruit is of Chinese origin and thrives in the Costa Rican climate. After this very memorable experience, we all wanted to go surfing to let everything sink in. After seeing animals in unusual places, we began noticing things we didn't before. Here in the jungle, the ecosystem is pretty well balanced, with all the bigger animals eating up the smaller ones. But sometimes the bigger animals, me, get eaten up by the smaller ones. This horsefly has noticed my other hand can't be used for defense, so it attacks strategically. Being a surfer, you're reminded of how beautiful nature can be. Taking a look around and seeing it unfold right in front of your eyes is what creates those almost undescribable mental pictures. A good day of surf calls for a good place to relax afterwards. This place showed surf as well as feature films projected onto the wall at about 20 feet high. The best seats in the house were upstairs, where Pat and Justin were already enjoying some nice cold sodas. The geckos loved the wall where the movies were being projected. The bright areas drew more bugs, and when a movie was being played, there'd be 30 geckos on the wall at one time. After several days in this area, it was time to move on to a totally different spot several hours away. At our new destination, we meet up with my mom, wife, and son, as well as some friends from New York. After unloading the boards and bringing our things inside our new jungle home, it started to rain. What better thing to do when it's raining but sleep? My wife Isa shows us how it's properly executed. My mom Yolanta opts for kicking back and relaxing while checking out the view. This leather-seated rocking chair is great for getting into the rhythm of the place, as my 10-year-old son Matt demonstrates. As everyone started to get into the swing of things with our new environment, Matt found a hammock all to himself and showed us his new hammock propulsion technique. After his demonstration, Matt decided to go visit my buddy Mark, who was staying at the next house with his wife and friends. Mark, living in New York City, was fully taking advantage of the relaxed atmosphere found in this magical place. We were so deep in the jungle that electricity was hard to come by, and most lighting was provided by candles, making every dinner very romantic. The waves were breaking even before anyone got up. Matt asked me the night before if he could take my shortboard in the morning and paddle out into the big waves all by himself. He knew the waves were too big for him to actually surf, but he said he wanted to just paddle out into them so he can be more confident in our smaller, less powerful waves back home in Florida. Arriving on the beach, he looked for the best place to paddle out. After thinking it through and pumping himself up, Matt was ready to challenge himself as well as boost his confidence. After returning from his big wave battles, the walk back was with new eyes, which helped him see things he didn't before, and that made the rest of this trip even better. At this point, Mac had smelled breakfast, and he knew right after we'd all be going to our final destination, which was going to be the best yet. By now, our truck had taken us deep into the jungles of Costa Rica, Central America. The coat of dirt it had built up couldn't be removed by the deepest river crossing or strongest downpours. The little beach house was perfect. Nestled on the edge of the jungle-covered shoreline, it provided an amazing view. A short walk out onto the cliffs revealed an even more spectacular scene. Right when I thought it couldn't get any better, a pair of scarlet macaws flew overhead, adding the cherry on top of the scene. When there's no surf and nothing else to do, you play cards. Taking extra time during your turn is highly important to psych out your opponents. And when the game was getting good, a troop of squirrel monkeys showed up right next to our house. These guys were about 20 feet away, and it was like a real-life nature show revealing itself right in front of our eyes. Costa Rica has 4 different kinds of monkeys: howlers, white-faced capuchins, spider, and of course these guys, the little squirrel monkeys, which we would later find out are well known for their aerial acrobatics. Everyone was pretty hungry after all the monkey business was over, so Isa headed off to the kitchen to have a refreshingly cool beer and cook some lunch for everyone. Lunch was served in our natural dining room, which had a great view of the surf break located a short distance away. As the night came on, the usual scene presented itself, and that was sitting around the table, sharing stories, and seeing what large insects will be drawn to the light. That night, a large owl's-eye moth had found sanctuary under our roof and safely hid from bats and other creatures which would make quick work of it out in the open. Another glorious morning. The bats were resting from hunting owl's eye moths all night. Isa was waking up by reading a good book. And Matt yet again found another hammock to demonstrate the art of cocoon building. Justin and Matt had decided to quickly eat their breakfast, jump into the truck, and go on a mini adventure. They arrived at a big beach, which was a great place to check the surf and bring on the day. After taking some mental pictures and not having any surf to report, they were off. A little further down the road, they spotted another troop of squirrel monkeys jumping and climbing in the trees. Their aerial acrobatics of jumping 30 feet from tree to tree looked amazingly effortless. Once back at the house, the waves had picked up and it was time to go surfing. After surfing, everyone went to relax. Justin and Matt befriended 2 local dogs and played an international game of catch. And to help restore the energy we lost while surfing, my mom and Isa were ready to provide badly needed sustenance. With full bellies, we were down for some shut-eye. Tomorrow, we'd be driving 8 hours back to the airport. Looking out over the backyard, it was difficult to start packing for our journey home. With our board strapped down and bags stashed away into the back of the truck, we did one last quick mental check to make sure we had everything and we were off. Taking a stretch break 4 hours into our drive, we stopped at an empty beach which had an amazing view with a small wave breaking, showing good form. Maybe one day on a future trip, we'll be lucky and actually find a bigger wave here. Costa Rica is a wonderful place to spend some quality time with your thoughts while you embrace the solitude it provides. As the feelings of the trip coming to an end started to take hold, I recalled all the incredible things experienced on our surfing adventures in Costa Rica's southern zone.